Students, welcome back to physics online class. We have been discussing about that Pascal law. Already we know that meaning of Pascal law. So just I will remember you. The pressure is exerted at any part of the fluid. That pressure is going to transmit in all directions. So whatever the pressure are going to act on the fluid, so that pressure will be distributed in all direction we can consider. Right, so in that last class by the derivation we come to know that pressure is remains the same in all directions. I will consider one rectangular prism. So that prism is immersed in the fluid. Whatever the pressure is going to exert on the liquid, so pressure is going to exert on the fluid, that pressure is remains the same in all direction. By the mathematical way we come to know that pressure is remains same in all direction. Right, then what's the use of understanding this Pascal law? How to consider here? So this Pascal law having lot of applications. Among those we will use that concept of Pascal law in case of hydraulic lift and hydraulic brake in today's session. So we'll speak about that, how that hydraulic lift and hydraulic brakes are going to work. So let us begin with today concept related to applications of Pascal law. Right, applications of Pascal law. So in case of applications of Pascal law, first we'll discuss about that how that hydraulic lifts are going to work here. Working of hydraulic lift. So this hydraulic lift is works on the principle of Pascal law. So now we will understand that how this hydraulic lifts are going to work. So in case of hydraulic lift, I will consider that two columns here. So these two columns having that different cross sectional area. Two vertical columns I will consider here. Right, this is one column. I will take that another column here. These two vertical columns having that different cross sectional area. These two vertical columns I will connect it by one horizontal pipe here. Right, now so inside this column I will fill with the fluid. Look at here, this is vertical column C1. I will name this is vertical column C1 and this one is vertical column C2. So these two vertical columns are attached by one horizontal pipe here. These two columns having that different cross sectional area. Now I will attach that piston to both that column C1 and C2 here. Right, for example, this small cross sectional tube having that area small a I will consider here. This area is capital A. Right, now I want to lift the vehicle, means lift that heavy load. For example, in case of hydraulic lift, these hydraulic lifts are going to use to lift that heavy load. So in order to lift that heavy load, whatever the load I want to lift here, that load I will attach to the large cross sectional area. Here I will take the load. This is load. Right, I want to lift this load upward direction. So in order to lift that heavy load in a upward direction, what suppose I will use here? I will use that hydraulic lift here. How these hydraulic lift will work, I will understand that mechanism of that hydraulic lift. Right, for example, let us apply that small amount of force to the small cross sectional area here. So look at here, I will apply that small force F on the small cross sectional area. So just I will write that mathematical expression here. A small force is act on small cross sectional area. Cross sectional area. So we know that general meaning of pressure is equal to force per unit area. Small force F is applied on the small cross sectional area. Small cross sectional area, I took that small a here. Right, then then whatever the force I am going to apply on that small cross sectional area by the Pascal law, this force or this pressure is going to distribute uniformly in all direction. So whatever the small force is applied on the small cross sectional area, this force is act on the large cross sectional area. This force, let us take it as F here. So look at here, small force is act on the small cross sectional area. So this force or pressure, so whatever the force or pressure is there, this pressure is going to distribute uniformly in all direction, right? Then force exert on large cross sectional area, I can consider force exert on large cross sectional area. That force is equal to, shall I write it at pressure into area here? So pressure is equal to force by area, generalized formula. Pressure is equal to force per unit area, or force is equal to pressure into area. Let us take this as equation 2. By the mathematical way, I can able to convey you, wherever pressure P is there, shall I take it as F by A here? So look at here, I will substitute equation 1 value in equation 2. If I do like that, force F which is equal to F by A into A, or I can rewrite it A by A into F here. So by comparing this equation, a small force F is applied on the small cross sectional area. This small force can produce that large force here, F which is equal to A by A into F. It means that force F is greater than that of F here. Why? Because if the ratio of A by A means area of cross section of that large vertical column, and small a means area of cross section of the small vertical column here. The ratio of A by A is greater means force will be large here. So if this force is large means, so this large force is act on the large cross sectional area. This force can able to lift that load in a upward direction. So look at here, I will apply small force F here. So this small force F which is equal to A by A into F. So comparatively, so F value and this capital F value, so this force value is greater than that of F here. Why? Because by the mathematical expression, capital F value which is equal to A by A into small f, right? It means that, so if that A by A ratio is larger means this capital F is larger. So if capital F is larger means the extra force F minus of F is the extra forces act on this load. So this extra force can lift the object, we can consider. So look at here, in case of that hydraulic lift, I will consider that two vertical column, one is having small cross sectional area, another one having that greater cross sectional area. So I will apply that small force on the small cross sectional area. So this force is acting in all direction, right? If this force is acting in all direction means force exerted on the large cross sectional area F which is equal to P into A, where P is nothing but F by A here, right? It means that force exerted on large cross sectional area which is equal to A by A times of the force exerted on the small cross sectional area. It means that, so force exerted on large cross sectional area is greater than that of force exerted on the small cross sectional area. From the small force I will get that large force here. The difference in the force between large cross sectional area and small cross sectional area can leads to lift that load in a upward direction. So this is the applications of Pascal law we can consider. Next we are having that one more application. Okay, so we are having that one more applications related to Pascal law. So that is how that hydraulic brakes are going to work. In case of that vehicle, we will use that hydraulic brake in order to stop the vehicle. So let us discuss how these hydraulic brakes are going to work here. So second applications related to Pascal law, hydraulic brake. So in order to understand that working of hydraulic brake, so this hydraulic brake involves that one column here. So we'll take one column here, or tube I can consider, horizontal tube I can consider. So one end of the horizontal tube is connected to one master cylinder. So this is master cylinder I will take. So in this pipe and cylinder, hydraulic brakes are going to fill. So fluid is filled in this column here. One end of the column is connected to master cylinder here. I will name this one as master cylinder here. Another end of this tube is connected to wheel cylinder. Let us take, this is wheel cylinder. So this is master cylinder. One end of the horizontal tube is connected to master cylinder, another end is connected to wheel cylinder. So look at here, this is wheel cylinder. This wheel cylinder having that piston here. Let us take, fluid is filled here. This is piston P1 and this one is piston P2. I will take it here. These are all the piston P1 and P2. Now I will take one rim here. This one I will take it as a rim. So I will take one wheel here. This is the wheel, right? So between that inner rim and wheel, I will take that brake shoe here. S1 and S2 I will name it as brake shoe. S1 and S2 are brake shoe. So this one is wheel cylinder. This is wheel cylinder, right? This is inner rim. Now I will take that brake pedal here. This is one brake pedal. So if I push at little extent, so rotation of the wheel is going to stop. So how this hydraulic brakes are going to work, we will understand. So look at here, from the diagrammatic way I am explaining. It consists of one tube here. One end of the tube is connected to master cylinder, another end of the tube is connected to wheel cylinder here, right? So this wheel cylinder consists of that two piston P1 and P2 here, right? So end of this wheel cylinder I will take one rim here, inner rim, and between that inner rim and the wheel I will consider that brake shoe here. Now I will understand that how these hydraulic brakes are going to work. For example, if a person is going to push a pedal here, then what happens here? Pressure is exerted at any part of the fluid. That pressure is going to transmit in all direction. From the basic principle of Pascal, I am applying pressure at this part, right? If I push the pedal, so pressure is going to act at any part of the fluid. That pressure is going to transmit in all direction. If the pressure is going to transmit in all direction, then what happens here? That pressure is going to transmit to the piston P1 and P2. So this piston P1 and P2 is getting expand here. So if the piston and P2 are, if the piston P1 and P2 are getting expand, means this inner rim is getting expand here. If the inner rim, so this green line I will take it as inner rim here, right? If the inner rims are going to wider here, if the inner rims are going to wider, means, so look at here, there exists a friction between, so here shoe here, brake shoe I will consider. Here I will consider brake shoe. If these inner rims are going to wider, means, so here friction is developed between inner rim and the wheel. So because of this friction, this wheel is stop its rotation. So look at here, in case of brake system, I want to stop the rotation of the wheel. In order to stop the rotation of the wheel, I will apply pressure at one end of the fluid here. So here brake oil is there, so this one is brake oil, right? If pressure is exerted at any part of the fluid, that pressure is going to transmit in all direction. So here piston P1 and P2 are going to move away here. As a result of this inner rim is going to expand here. If the inner rim is going to expand, so friction is developed between that shoe S1 and S2 and the wheel here. Because of this friction, so wheel is stop its rotation. So this is the mechanism, right? So look at here, wheel is moving with the faster speed, it is moving with a greater speed. In order to stop that a large speed, so I will apply only a small force, a small push is enough to stop that speed rotation of the wheel here. So how it is possible, how that small force can brings it to stop the rotation of the wheel, I can understand here. In order to understand this thing, so look at here, compared to that of master cylinder, area of cross section of master cylinder, area of cross section of master cylinder is less than that of, look at here, area of cross section of the master cylinder is less than that of wheel cylinder here. Here difference in area I can consider, area of cross section of the master cylinder, area of cross section of this is wheel cylinder. So compared to these two area of cross section, wheel cylinder having that greater area, right? If wheel cylinder having greater area means a small force F, I can consider that a small force is enough to stop large retarding force we can consider. So look at here, so how small force can brings it to stop the rotation of wheel here. So when small force is applied to that of master cylinder having that small cross sectional area, whereas wheel cylinder having greater cross sectional area. As a result of this, a small force can produce that large retarding force. So just imagine that if the car is moving with a speed of 100 km/h, so such a fast moving vehicle I can able to stop with the small push here. So if I apply that small force here, that small force can cause that large retarding force. It is the application of Pascal law.